Kasi napansin ko dito sa Marcos administration, ang daming mga higher level na mga mga posisyon na iba-iba yung ginagampanan, na pwede naman gampanan siguro yun ng isang ASEC, yung alimbawa, yung 1 or 2, 3 functions.
Hindi lang naman po ang pangangailangan po ng opisina ng ating Pangulo, kundi po yung buong executive branch po ang kanilang sinisilbihan.
Allow us to acknowledge our guests from the Presidential Communication Office, Secretary Cheloy Velicaria Garafil. For Traditional Media and External Affairs, Senior Undersecretary Hani Rose Mercado. For Digital Media Services, Undersecretary Emerald Ann Ridao. For Operations Administration, Finance and GOCCs, Yusek Sherbet Karen Maralit. For Broadcast Production, Yusek Franz Gerard Imperial. For Content Production, Yusek Gerald Barya. Assistant Secretary Jefferson Ang. Assistant Secretary Francisco Rodriguez III, Assistant Secretary Evangeline De Leon, Assistant Secretary Katrina Grace Ongcoco, Assistant Secretary Rowena Otida, Assistant Secretary Eugene Henry Rodriguez, and Assistant Secretary Patricia Kale Martin.
We acknowledge the presence of the heads and officials from the Presidential Communication Office. Welcome to the House of Representatives.
Madam Speaker, I now move that we recognize the sponsor of said agency, the Honorable Stella Kimbo.
The Honorable Stella Luz Kimbo is recognized for her sponsorship.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In an age where information is abundant yet often fragmented, the Presidential Communications Office stands as a vital bridge connecting the government to its people. The PCO ensures that the heartbeat of our nation's initiatives, policies, and programs reach every Filipino, fostering a deeper understanding and relationship between the government and its citizens. The role of the PCO transcends mere communication. It is about building trust and ensuring that every Filipino is informed of the government's endeavors and understands how these efforts directly impact their lives. Through its various channels and platforms, the PCO creates avenues for dialogue, ensuring that the aspirations and concerns of the public are echoed back to the corridors of power. As we deliberate on the proposed allocation of 1.7 billion pesos for the PCO and its attached agencies, let us recognize the significance of their mission. Their work is instrumental in crafting a cohesive national narrative, one where every citizen feels a part of our country's journey towards progress. By supporting the PCO, we are investing in a future where the government and its people move forward hand in hand, informed, engaged, and united in purpose. Maraming salamat po, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I now move that we recognize the Honorable Franz Castro of Party List Act Teachers for his interpellation.
The Honorable Franz Castro is recognized for her interpellation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat, lalong-lalo na po yung pamilya ng PCO. So, would the distinguished sponsor yield to some questions about PCO? Hindi ako nakapagtanong dun sa briefing before, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, distinguished sponsor. So, yung unang tanong, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, about the PCO. Dati po kasi meron tayong PCOO. Ngayon, pinalitan siya ng PCO. Ano po ba yung ano po ba yung difference in terms of mandate and functions?
Well, Madam Speaker, nadagdagan ng functions na include sa kanyang functions ang presidential engagement. Kasama sa kanilang responsibilidad ang pag-aayos ng itinerary ng ating Pangulo.
So, ibig sabihin, Madam Speaker, yung function po ng PCOO, as is pa rin siya, nadagdagan
Tama po.
lang ng function.
Tama po, Madam Speaker.
Okay, so kasi Madam Speaker, alam nyo ba saan nag-engage ang PCOO noong mga nakaraang panahon? Kasi nakita naman natin yung bad experience, lalong-lalo na distinguished sponsor, no? Doon sa mga aktivista, opposition, nakita natin yung naging record or masamang record ng PCOO noong mga panahon ng Duterte administration. Nag-engage sila sa mga misinformation, red tagging, at iba't iba pang ano no nakakapahamak na nagawain laban sa mga aktivista at saka doon sa ano no sa mga opposition. So ibig sabihin maintain pa rin po 'yon na magiging ano no activities ng PCO.
Madam Speaker, ikinalulungkot po natin na nagkaroon po ng mga ganyang karanasan nung nakaraan. Pero sa ngayon po, Madam Speaker, we assure you na wala po tayong ganyang polisiya sa ngayon po, Madam Speaker.
Okay, thank you very much, distinguished sponsor, sa paglilinaw. Kasi in terms of yung mga mandate at saka yung mga activities. Okay, meron kasing mga projects ba or programs. May nakita ako dito, no? At binigyan puri din to ng CHR, yung proposed digital media literacy campaign ng PCO. So could you describe, Madam Speaker, yung paano ba to gagawin ng ating PCO? Ano ba yung objectives? Sino ba yung target? Ano ba yung gustong maabot nitong literacy campaign na ito?
Itong media information literacy campaign, Madam Speaker, ang layunin po nito ay ma-equip primarily ang ating kabataan nang sa ganun po ay sila po ay maturuan na ma-discern halimbawa po ang pagkakaiba ng fake news sa accurate na balita. That's the primary goal, Madam Speaker. And it will be done with the CHED, with the DepEd, and the ILG, as well as the DSWD. And the PCO would also have some partnership with the private sector, including Meta, Google, as well as TikTok, as well as X. So ang magiging approach po dito is gagamitin po natin ang ating mga paaralan. So primarily dahil napakaliit po ng budget, sa ngayon po ay 19 million lamang. So ang gagawin po natin, ang approach is tuturuan po natin ang mga teachers, kung i-equip natin ang ating mga teachers para, so in short, training the trainers ang approach para in turn sila naman po ay matuturuan nila ang mga estudyante sa pag-discern kung alin ang fake news at hindi fake news, Madam Speaker.
Okay, so it seems good, no, yung project or project na ito ng PCO. So ang ibig sabihin nun, Madam Speaker, so magkakaroon ng training. Meron na po ba yung plano? Anong mga schools, mga target na bibigyan ng training sa public school, sa higher education level, etc. So meron na po ba yan mga targeted na mga schools natin and mga students?
Madam Speaker, this campaign is very new. It was launched only last August 14, Madam Speaker. Ang primary targets at this point would be SUCs. At sa ngayon po, draw up pa lamang ang mga listahan ng mga SUCs na isasama po sa campaign, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, distinguished sponsor. Nakalagay po dito, no, doon sa nabasa ko about the proposed digital media literacy campaign. Sa kinatawang ito, no, mahalaga po sa atin yung to discern fake from truth or fake from facts, etc. So kasi nakalagay dito, this is a campaign that will undertake a context-based and factual grassroots approach in equipping women, girls, and members of the vulnerable sectors with knowledge and skills to discern truth in materials they consume in social media and other online platforms. So the Media and Information Literacy, or MIL, will also be in partnership with the private sector and the broadcast industry stakeholders to develop mechanisms in fighting rampant misinformation and disinformation in the country. So mukhang maganda tong project na to, no? Kasi talagang totoo naman yung sinasabi ng PCO, Madam Speaker, na rampant talaga yung misinformation and disinformation. So ibig sabihin nito, Madam Speaker, hindi lang po mga SUC ang tinatarget. Kung paniniwalaan ko po yung pronouncement ng PCO, grassroots level, mga vulnerable sectors ng ating society, so hindi lang po yata mga estudyante ang target. Tama po ba ang aking pagkakaintindi?
Tama po, Madam Speaker. Yan po ang layunin natin. Gusto po natin as broad-based as possible. Kaya nga lang po, Madam Speaker, ang realidad ay napakaliit po ng budget na nakalaan. Sa ngayon, 19 million lamang po. Kaya ang first phase po natin ay state universities and colleges, Madam Speaker. But of course, with the generosity of Congress, in the coming years, baka sakali po ay madagdagan po natin ang ating target groups, Madam Speaker.
Yes, para dagdagan ko rin din na sinabi ng PCO, this entails the safeguarding of Filipinos' fundamental freedom, including the right to freedom of expression, right to participation, and the right to information. So mahalagang mga kalayaan ito ng ating mga mamamayan no, na hindi talaga natin dapat na ipagkait. So kasama po ba dyan yung pagtuturo ng mga ganong mga rights?
Tama po, Madam Speaker.
Okay, so kaisa po ako ng PCO no dito sa program na ito or projects, yung Proposed Digital Media Literacy Campaign. At sumasang-ayon ako sa ating kagalang-galang na sponsor na madagdagan ang budget kaugnay nun. At ako po ay ay susuporta po sa ganung mga panukala. Yung panghuling question ko po, Madam Speaker, as regards to the composition ng PCO. Kanina po ina-acknowledge natin yung iba't ibang official ng PCO at 1.7 billion na budget. So maaari ko bang matanong ang PCO, Madam Speaker, distinguished sponsor, ilan po ba ang USEC dito sa PCO at ilan po ang ASEC?
Madam Speaker, we have 5 undersecretaries. We have 12 assistant secretaries, Madam Speaker.
So sa ganitong kaliit na ahensya, Madam Speaker, na merong USEC na 5, ay may ASEC na 12. Kung titingnan natin ang sweldo talaga nitong mga to, nasa 6 digits yan. Halos katumbas yan ng malapit yan sa sweldo ng mga mga representative. So, bakit po kaya ganito karami, Madam Speaker?
Madam Speaker, sa katunayan, nag-streamline na nga po ang organizational structure ng PCO. Under the previous organizational structure, there were 8 undersecretaries. Kaya streamlining na nga po ang nangyari. At doon po sa 12 assistant secretaries, tatandaan din po natin, Madam Speaker, dumami nga po ang responsibilities ng PCO dahil nga po dinagdagan po natin ang functions ng PCO kumpara sa previous organization.
Pero ang alam ko, Madam Speaker, kapag dumarami yung trabaho, ang nagtatrabaho naman yung mga nasa baba, di ba? Yung mga empleyado. So pag sinabi natin mga USEC, mga ASEC, mga policy, policy direction lang yung mga ginagawa na yan. By the way, so ilan po ang empleyado ng PCO, Madam Speaker?
Madam Speaker, if I may, before I answer the question dun sa number of employees, can I just justify lang yung dami ng assistant secretaries? Kasi po, it's by type of media. Meron po tayong assistant secretary for radio, for television, meron din po tayo for digital assets, for digital media, for content production, for broadcast production, meron din for operations, at syempre meron din po for administration. So syempre po sa kinalaunan, dahil din po sa pagdagdag ng, dahil po sa makabagong teknolohiya, kaya dumadami ang different kinds of media. So kinakailangan natin ng dagdag na assistant secretaries, Madam Speaker. And doon po sa katanungan kung ilan po ang ating personnel, we have a total of 363 personnel. 250 of these 363 are plantilla positions po. Isa lang po ang contractual, isa ang casual, 111 po ang COS, Madam Speaker.
Okay, thank you po, Madam Speaker, distinguished sponsor. So, ganun pa rin po, Madam Speaker, as regards to the number of USEC and ASEC, although magkakaiba yung sinasabing line of work o yung mga ginagampanan nitong mga to, just the same, tingin ko po dapat din tayong mag-rationalize kasi nagra-right sizing tayo. Kung nagra-right sizing tayo sa baba, dapat mag-right sizing din tayo sa mga opisyal. Kasi napansin ko dito sa Marcos administration, ang daming mga higher level na mga position na iba-iba yung ginagampanan, na pwede namang gampanan siguro yun ng isang ASEC, yung halimbawa, yung 1 or 2, 3 functions. Kasi ang mga teachers nga, nag-multitasking yan eh. Ang dami ring mga personnel sa mga eskwelahan natin, universities, na nag-multitasking. So baka dapat din pag-isipan later on, at tayo naman, siyempre, yung magre-recommend sa ating ahensya, kung paano mag-streamline at paano mara-rationalize itong mga higher ups na position as compared dun sa lower. Kasi tignan natin, ang employees, 363, of which 250 yung regular. Kung i-divide natin yung number of employees as to the ASEC and USEC, no, yung magiging ratio. So, dapat din makita rin natin yung, siguro alam din siguro ng ating distinguished sponsor, ano yung tinutukoy natin, ano, yung rationalization ng mga position, at kung paano rin tayo makakatipid. Kasi kung nagtitipid tayo sa baba, di ba, by means of hiring contractuals and JOs, dapat makatipid din tayo dun sa taas.
Madam Speaker, we duly note the observations of our honorable colleague